Hey everyone, Jen at Ink Paper Rubber. I have some new goodies here to share with you this afternoon. These are kind of all over the map, but lots of fun things, so I hope you will stick around and see what we got in. First of all, we'll start off with some basics. We got back in more of the Artist Tack Dot Transfer Adhesive Sheets. These are great for your intricate die cuts. What they are is they are a sheet of little tiny adhesive dots. You can't really see it on this graphic on the front, but what you do is you put your die cut down, you put the cover sheet over it and press, and that transfers the dots to your die cut, and then it's super easy to stick it down. These make it really easy to do those intricate die cuts without a lot of mess. Also got in a set of small stamping blocks. Sometimes it's hard to find these in the small sets, and sometimes the small ones are what you need. You really do want to match your acrylic block as closely as you can to the size of your stamp. And this is a great little set. You get 5 blocks in it. You get 2 1.5-inch square blocks, and you get 3 1-inch square blocks. So perfect for all your little stamps. And we also got back in more of the Signo Uniball white gel pens. These are my favorite white gel pens. They work so great and are really nice for adding white accents to dark colors. Also got in some dies. We got more dies in from Uniquely Creative, and let me come over here and to grab one thing. This company is an Australian company, and they have dies and stamps, and we have had a couple of their dies before. We got some more in. The first one here is their cross stitch oval die, and this is great. This is a set of actually 3 dies, and each die, it cuts the oval. You can see there is the center cutting line. It does this cross stitches on the outside of the circle and on the inside, or oval, and on the inside oval that it cuts out, it is the solid oval, but it has actually a line of stitching and then cross stitching. So every time you cut, you get an opening that you can use as well as the solid oval you can use. Here you can see what it looks like. Here we used the opening, and it's just that really nice finishing detail. Instead of having just the solid oval on the outside, it's really nice to have those cross stitches there. So that is a nice set, and we've had that before, but we got those back in. And I also got in the cross stitch squares, and in this set you actually get 4 dies, but again, and this one is a little bit different. The largest one just cuts the frame with the cross stitches and the stitching on the inside. The others all cut both the square rectangle. It's a square rectangle. That makes no sense whatsoever. The square that has the stitching and the cross stitch on the solid part, and then it does the stitching on the opening as well. So whether you use the piece that it cuts out or you use your opening, you have the decorative stitching on there. This is another die from Uniquely Creative. We have had this one before. I love this one. This one is the Stitched Mountain Range. You get a total of 5 different dies, and this here will give you an example of what you can do with it. This is a class that we have coming up, I think next week, next Thursday maybe. We are doing this mountain scene, and we're also doing a fun beach scene with some paper and stamps. So anyhow, lots of uses for this one here. I've used all of them together, but you certainly don't have to. You can just use 1 or 2 of them, however much you want. Last die from Uniquely Creative I got in. I think this one is really intriguing. It's called a circle cover plate, and it's pretty basic, but I think it will have a lot of uses. You basically get this large rectangle that has the stitching detail on it, and then you get all these circles. You have a total of 12 circles, and these cut both, they do the stitching on both the outside of the cut circle and also on the actual circle it cuts out. Now these are currently attached. You can see the little wires there, and you could certainly leave it attached if you want, and you would get this nice rectangle that had all these circle openings cut in it. But you can also break those apart and use those circles however you want. I think it would be fun to just use a few of them and place them however you want on your background to have some fun peekaboo openings for things to come out of. But you also get these great circles that have the stitch detailing, and it's a way to cut a lot of them at once. So I think that one has a lot of possibilities. got back in more, not too many, but we have some more of the Graphic 45 Craft Travel album set. This is the one that we used in our Lost in Paradise class. You can see it's this nice craft chipboard album, and you can decorate it however you like. In this case, we use the Lost in Paradise paper to decorate it. It's really nice because it has an inside pocket here, and then it actually comes with 3 notebooks that can be taken out and replaced if you want. One of them has grid paper, and you can see back here the back of this one also has this nice pocket, and then this one here has lined paper, and the last one just has plain watercolor paper. And then again, you can see a pocket back here on the back as well. So this has been really popular. People have been getting this to decorate with their favorite papers. You could also use paint, die-cut stencils, whatever you like to decorate that with. Speaking of paper, I just wanted to let you know I got in another paper from the Authentique Rejoice collection. We got in a lot of these last week or the week before, but this was on back order. This is one of the cut-apart sheets, and this is the Santas, and you can see all these vintage Santas on here. Here are some of the other papers in that line that coordinate with it. There's a lot more paper, so I think this is a really great paper line for Christmas. Next up, these are Pitt Artist Pens from Faber-Castell. We have had these before, but we haven't had them for a while. And this is their Big Brush series. You can see how big and chunky they are. And if I can get the cap off of it, they also have a big brush tip on the end of them. And what is especially cool about these markers is these are India ink markers, which means that they are permanent, which means that you can do watercolor techniques with them. And the reason that is important is this is a card that we are doing in our upcoming Penny Black Scenic class. And on this particular one, I needed to be able to color different parts of the stamp different colors. You can see the palm trees. We have pink and purple and brown. We have a little bit of blue back there for the horizon line. We have some grays down here for the beach and for the path. And it's very difficult to ink a stamp like this up with an ink pad in different colors, and so generally we turn to markers. But because I wanted to do a watercolor background on this one, if I had used my normal markers, my Tombow markers, my Distress markers, my Marvy markers, those would all have bled when I came in and watercolored. So instead I used these Marvy or the Faber-Castell Pitt Big Brush markers to do it. Again, it's India ink, so those are waterproof, so you can color with them directly on your stamp, so you can color just the areas you want in the different colors and stamp, and then when you come in and do your watercoloring, those colors won't be disturbed at all. So really excited to get those in. I think those are going to be great with all of the Penny Black Scenic stamps to do those kinds of fun techniques. The last thing I want to show you is a product from Creative Expressions. It's part of their gilding polish line, which we have had in before, but these are a little bit different. These are called opal polishes, and what they are is they are basically the gilding polish that has some mica in a secondary color in it. I think you can see on this one is called Lavender Blue, and you can see that the gilding polish is primarily blue, but it has this lavender mica in there that gives it this beautiful shimmer. The other color that we have is called Pink Thistle, and this is kind of a lavender base with a really goldy pink mica in it. And just to give you an example of what these look like, this is the Lavender Blue. This is on just regular white cardstock, and it's mostly blue, but see how I turn it in the light and you can see that lavender showing up in there, how beautiful that is. And it's interesting because here I did that same color on black. And pretty much what happens when you do it on black is the actual gilding polish color doesn't come through very much, and instead the mica color comes through more. This is the same one, but in this one that purple mica is what you're really seeing. You can see a little bit of that blue as I tilt it in the light, but it primarily comes out as the purple. This is the Lavender Thistle, And this is what it looks like when I do it on just white. And sometimes here it actually kind of looks a little blue, but it's mostly lavender with some pinks in it. And look how interesting that is when I do it on the black. It almost has a very much a pinky gold look, so that mica is what really shows up in there. So anyhow, these are super easy to use. If you haven't used them before or seen us use it, just come by and we will show you how. It actually comes with the sponge applicator that stores right in the lid, so it's handy. You always have your sponge available. They're very, very easy to use. They're water-based. They go on very smoothly, and they also dry very quickly, so they are a lot of fun to use. All right, that is all that I have for you right now. I should be getting some other goodies later in the week, so once I do, I will be back and show them to you. Hope you all have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.